What if we thought about reading not as a subject we have to teach, but as a code? A code that kids are just naturally curious about cracking. Well, it turns out they're amazing code breakers. And the Montessori method, it basically just hands them the key, turning this big mystery of letters and sounds into a puzzle they actually want to solve. So, how on earth does it work?
I mean, it's a huge question, right? And we usually jump to things like flashcards, phonics drills, a lot of repetition. But what if that whole journey started somewhere completely different? What if it didn't start with a book at all, but with the world itself? And this right here, this is the idea that just flips the whole thing on its head. Maria Montessori knew that before a child can even begin to understand those abstract squiggles on a page, they have to have a rich, hands-on understanding of the world those squiggles are talking about. It all starts with real stuff.
So, our first stop on this journey has nothing to do with the alphabet. Seriously, it's all about building this super solid foundation of understanding and vocabulary, connecting words to the real, tangible, three-dimensional world that a child actually lives in. Okay, so notice what we're focusing on here. It's all about what's real and concrete. In a Montessori classroom, you'd start with a real apple, not just a picture of one. And you'd use these really rich, descriptive words. This is a round, red, crisp apple. This simple act starts building this huge mental library, connecting words directly to what a child can see, feel, and taste. It gives them the confidence to talk about their world way before they can read about it. All right, so now that they have this rich vocabulary, we get to the next stage, which is, well, it's pretty unique. We introduce written words, but not by asking them to write. We ask them to build them. And this is the tool that makes it happen, the movable alphabet. It is a total game changer. It's literally just a box filled with wooden letters. And what's so brilliant about it is that it lets a child spell out their thoughts, to actually write before their little hand muscles are ready to hold a pencil perfectly. It separates the mental work of spelling from the physical work of writing. And the process is just so simple and intuitive. A kid thinks of a word, let's say cat. They say it out loud and they hear the sounds, k, a, t. Then they just go into the box, find the wooden letter for each sound, and lay them out in order. They are literally physically building the word. It makes the super abstract idea of spelling something they can actually see and touch. Okay, so building one word is one thing. But how do you make that leap to actually reading sentences in a book? This is where the careful, step-by-step nature of the method really starts to shine. The path forward is laid out with this amazing set of materials, and each one builds directly on the last. You start small, matching tiny objects to little word labels. Then the child moves on to reading those same simple words on cards. And only then do they get their first books, which, get this, only have words they already know how to sound out. It's designed to build success and confidence before you ever get to the tricky stuff. And that's the absolute genius of it. It's this logical progression. You start with a real thing you can hold. You connect that to the written word, and only then do you move to reading that word in a book. It's the seamless journey from the real world to the abstract world of text. All of this careful prep work, all this hands-on building, it all leads to what is honestly one of the most magical moments in a child's life. And it's not a moment where they're being taught something. It's a moment of pure personal discovery. So picture this. A child is working with the movable alphabet, and they decide they're going to build the word dog. They sound it out, d, a, g, and they find each letter and lay it out. Then, just like they've done 100 times, they go to the object box, find that little wooden dog, and place it right next to the word they just built. They're making that connection. These letters mean this thing. But then, a little later, they pick up one of those very first reading books. They open a page, and they see those exact same 3 letters, and something just clicks. They sound it out, and for the very first time, they read a whole sentence all by themselves. The dog ran. And that is the moment. It's this profound explosion of understanding. The word they can speak, the word they can build with their hands, and the word they see on the page, they all just snap together into one single idea. That is the bedrock of real literacy. So this all leads us to the fundamental philosophy that makes this method so different from a lot of others. It's all about empowering the child to discover things for themselves, not just forcing them to memorize. Just look at this comparison.
On the Montessori side, you have this hands-on process of discovery and exploration where the adult follows the child's own pace and readiness. And that's pretty different from a more traditional system that often has a fixed pace and relies more on abstract rules and drilling. The focus is always on genuine understanding, not just memorizing for a test.
And honestly, that's a huge challenge for the adult in the room. Your job is to guide this natural exploration, to introduce the next little piece of the puzzle at just the right time, but to really resist that urge to just drill them on it. It's all about trusting the process and trusting the child. So when you boil it all down, all these materials, this entire philosophy, this patient process, it's all working toward one single, really powerful goal. It's about empowering kids to become confident communicators. It's about giving them the tools not just to read what other people have written, but to describe their own reality, to imagine new possibilities, and to share their own unique thoughts with the world. So, what if we just reframed the whole thing? What if learning to read wasn't something that was done to a child, but was this incredible journey of discovery that they were allowed to lead for themselves?